Welcome into the Cactus Golf Podcast, episode 3. Episode 3. Blair and Matt here with my co-host Matt Erickson. Our first little Zoom on Zoom action. Probably won't be the last, but he's out of town. He's traveling back home, homeland in Indiana.
Cold Indiana, man. It's freezing.
Really?
Yeah, we golfed on Friday, and it was 40-some degrees.
You get the pull over there. Yeah,
I'm missing Arizona pretty.
I mean, it poured, and it's like kind of cold, I guess, from our standards. It's like it was like 60 this morning on my little walk and run this morning. It was like 60. Yeah. It's only like just creeping into the 80s today, so nothing too crazy. But
yeah, I actually golfed in Milwaukee. I actually golfed the first course that Tiger Woods ever turned pro at. And when he turned pro, the first tournament that he played was in Milwaukee. And I found out, we were talking to the starter, and he said that he picked this course because Nike had a $20 million contract ready for him once he turned pro. And this was the first tournament, the first weekend that he could go to, so he could sign that contract and get that payout. So yeah, I mean, I don't blame him. And he actually had a hole-in-one on 14 of one of their par threes. And happy to say that I double bogeyed that hole. So quite different outcomes.
I assume they had like some kind of like picture in the clubhouse or something.
The clubhouse was loaded with Tiger Woods stuff.
Yeah.
Loaded. My dad was trying to take up off the wall. He wanted to take some home. Like, you can't do this, man. You can't.
Look over there and just snag them.
Yeah, exactly. But to load up the car with just like random memorabilia. It was pretty cool though. The course is like built in like 1928 too. So like looking at like the videos from when it was a actual PGA course, it looks very different, but they still keep up with the course pretty well still. So it was nice.
Heck yeah. But, all right. Well, that's where we're both at. But we got a little less segments on deck today, but we got one maybe a little longer one here. So Liv obviously has been, in the news a lot with the official world golf rankings and all, the debates going on there, whether they should get points or not, and all the players kind of coming out and talking about whether they should or not. And I think we've all probably gotten a little bit of a lesson on like official world golf rankings and whatnot. Like never really thought about it too much. Like, okay, where's everybody ranked? You never really thought about the criteria too much. But so I started doing some digging. And so Liv, like right now, obviously not getting points for it. There's, the first thing I went to is, okay, why aren't they? Or I guess my argument is like, why shouldn't they get points? So there's a certain criteria that's laid out, right? So they're not hitting that criteria. So it's an easy argument for like why they shouldn't be getting points. But it's okay, what are the criteria? So it's like, you have to have 72 hole tournament, and you have to, have a cut, whatnot, some other things in there, but that's kind of the gist of the criteria. They're just not hitting. So easy argument. But then I'm like, okay, well, why should they get points? So like for one, obviously, in PGA players have said this too, there's just too much talent. Like you want the best players to be ranked because you want to be like, you want to say like, oh, I'm the best of the best. And, if you're at the top of the rankings, but the best players aren't being counted. You can't really say that necessarily. So one reason right there, too much talent not to give points to. Yeah, it's not as deep as PGA, but still some of the best golfers in the world are there. So I think you have to take that into consideration. And also one of the big things I saw is on official World Golf Rankings websites, they have a link to a YouTube video for how the ranking system works and like some updates they've done recently, which are a few months ago, are the most recent ones. And I think it was the first sentence, either the first or second sentence in the video, quote, official World Golf Ranking has maintained a policy of modifying the system as required to ensure the ranking represents the most accurate available in men's professional golf. Now that right there says, okay, if you actually believe that, you have to give points to Liv. Like right there, if you believe that, you have to.
I agree. I watched the same YouTube video actually. And I also want to make a comment that the guy's voice sounded like the person narrating it just sounded like a typical like chairman of the board type of guy. It was very, I don't know. But it's like you said earlier, like I didn't know so much. Like we know, like you want to know who's like ranked number one, who everyone ranking is, but like the actual criteria behind it and how they get ranked and how it's a 2-year long period of scores, and then how they determine the so many different things. It's interesting to the math and the
so many nuances
behind. There's so many, and then like
I don't think they reveal all the details behind it either.
They don't. And I was trying to dig through and trying to understand a lot of it, and even that's just difficult. But like even the criteria that they have for some of them, they make a lot of exceptions, like a lot of exceptions that they made for other tours and other golf organizations. So why not this one? But then like did you look at like I think there's 10 people, 8 or 10 people on the board for the world rankings. And like
exactly who it was.
Think, like, I mean, 80% of them are part of the PGA. So there's like one guy from the USGA.
Well, Jay Monahan, the head of the PGA, is like one of the big names, and then I think it's all 4 of the major presidents or whatever, like there's one head from each major.
Correct.
And it's just going to be an impossible ceiling to break, or it seems like it would be an impossible ceiling to break through.
The odds are not stacked in their favor,
which they're obviously like it's impossible at that. Like as much as you could say, like even if it was me in that position, it'd be hard to be unbiased. Like
I agree 100%, and like there's, the odds are definitely stacked in their favor. And then what Liv did on joining, partnering with one of the
Mina.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Just like they're trying everything that they can. And it's kind of cool because like Phil Mickelson came out and said that like it's great to see an organization fighting for their players' rights and really trying everything that they possibly can do to help their players out, which is great to see because sometimes they can just be like, hey, you're playing for us, we're paying you good money. If you're not ranked, whatever, you're playing for our organization. So it's kind of cool to see that they truly do care about them.
They're definitely trying. Yeah. Cause I mean, that's going to be ultimately, like, I think there was a quote, I forget who said it, that some players on the PGA are waiting for that point to get those points. Cause a lot of the big names already have the exemption. So right now it's not a big deal. And like you said, the way it works, some players on Live aren't suffering as much. I forget who exactly it was, but it went into detail. Like Kevin Na has maintained a pretty good ranking so far, even though
Patrick Reed was one of them that he fell back pretty drastically.
Yeah, so some players are suffering worse because, like, I think it's the way it works is a 2-year rolling system.
Correct.
And the longer ago it was, if you had a win 2 years ago, which I think was that Reed's Masters 2 years ago, was it 3 years ago?
He was the year before Tiger.
Was the year before Tiger?
Year after, right? Year after Tiger, because Tiger, it was the year before Tiger. He was putting the jacket on Tiger.
That's right.
Yeah.
So but if you had wins 2 years ago and you haven't had as many lately, you're going to fall harder. Whereas like if you had more recently, like I think Neiman is one guy that hasn't suffered as much in the rankings just because he has more recent wins. So some people that that's what people are waiting for, their points to make that switch. So they're trying to do everything they can to do that. But another thing I wanted to say is they made changes again recently. I think it was August 6th this year. They made more changes. Nothing crazy. It was just they are changing like how they calculated the fields to determine how many points and whatnot. And they changed the point system. Whereas they used to not every player that made the cut was guaranteed points, but now that's kind of changed. A couple small things, but like they make changes all the time. So it's not like it's unprecedented.
Correct.
And my biggest thing is you've already made adjustments to your calculations, and you've already made adjustments for the strength of tournaments. I think the ZOZO was a no-cut tournament, was it? Or
Correct.
was it?
It was a no-cut tournament. Correct.
You already have made that.
That's what I'm saying. They make exceptions for this stuff already. So why not make it for this one too? But like they're talking, like one of the main arguments is that the league is too new. It's it's in their first season ever, and like the review process alone, I saw takes like
6 or so.
Like, say again?
Was it 18 months, I think?
16 to 18 months. So, they're obviously, they're fighting for the rights, but it's not going to be retroactive for the tournaments that already happened, obviously. So, this is something that they're going to fight for in the future, but I think it's stacked up against them right now, just based purely on politics and who's on the board right now.
Yeah.
And that's,
if that was their only thing they were saying was like, hey, you're just too new, I'd be fine with that. I could live with that.
I could too.
There's no reason to not adjust the points to, the 54 hole thing, if that's one thing, just adjust the points, whatever percentage of points you would give it to a 72 hole tournament with this field rating, whatever percentage of 54 holes of 72, give that same allotment of points.
Yeah. They essentially would earn,
you earn 3/4 of the points of whatever this field rating is.
And I think that's fair. I think that's completely fair. It shouldn't be 100% equal, because they're different, obviously.
No cut,
exactly. They should definitely earn their fair share of points.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. They've got top players on there. I feel like it's just a competitive. Maybe it's just a competitive to me. Like I would want them to be able to have that ranking because I want to know how I stack up against people.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've heard, I think I heard Rory and somebody else come out and say it, and like they want them to get points just for the reasons that we've said, just for the competitor in them. They want it to be accurate, and there's no reason not to, I think. And, yeah, I think it's all politics right now. It's really frustrating because they're trying to admit that it's not. It's so obvious that it is.
It's incredibly obvious that it's politics. I mean, I think it just screams politics because any just reasonable person can admit that I feel like you talk to any outsider that knows nothing about golf, like completely unbiased person, and you explain to them what this scenario is and what's happening. 95 to 98% of people are gonna be like, yeah, you give them their fair share of points. Why would you not? It's politics. That's what rules the world, man.
And I forget the number, but there's just an absurd number of different tours that contribute 2 points for official world golf rankings. Like that Mina, whatever, was like a feeder, some kind of junior tournament, whatever.
Yeah,
that
Middle Eastern, North African.
It's kind of defunct, and they kind of funded it to get it back into play. And
correct. Was it a feeder for the Asian tour?
I think so. Yeah. And they're already a partner with the Asian tour.
Correct. And they both obviously have they both earn points, official world golf rating points. So
I think it's a pretty easy compromise. Yeah.
Say again.
I think it's just a pretty obvious compromise that, hey, you don't play as many holes, we'll give you just that percentage of points. I really don't understand. I don't even really hear anybody making the argument. Maybe it's just too obvious that they're not even saying it. But I don't really hear about that either. But it's like I just can't wrap my head around why that wouldn't be the case.
I agree.
Yeah, I think we'll probably hear some more about that come out here in the next probably 12 months or so. And
yeah, it's gonna,
especially once those points start dwindling, and this is the end of the year for Live, so they have at least another probably 14 months or so before they have made that 18-month criteria, something like that, or how long?
Yes, I mean, yeah, if I'm
12-ish months, another calendar year probably.
Yeah,
where they meet that criteria. So I'm sure in those 12 months, more and more is just going to come out.
I think it's going to come down to just being settled in court. Because there's so many lawsuits involved with all of this and I know some players are pulling out of some of the lawsuits. But I think this is something that is going to have to be settled in a federal court system.
Yeah, I'm not privy to know how that even translates to court.
Yeah, I mean,
decision.
Correct. It feels like, yeah, I agree. It feels like it's just two siblings arguing with each other, and mom.
When you get to the court, it doesn't matter about common sense or not. It's just about kind of like a precedent, and it's all about.
Yeah.
What
they can't resort back to. I'm sure they can't resort back to any other cases that were something like this was similar. Not that I can think of in any other sporting event. So this might be the first, probably, of its kind.
Yeah, it's just going to come down to all the just lawyer speak, all the really long unnecessary documents that you pay somebody $400 an hour to read.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, I'm sure we'll hear more about that. We'll probably have another segment on this later on the road. But had a couple tournaments, this week, of course, the ZOZO. It was a kind of entertaining. It was definitely entertaining. I watched a little bit of it. It was hard to watch. It was kind of easy actually to watch because at night. So it was actually easier for me to watch, whether it's not going on like while I'm at work.
I'm a night person, man. I'd rather watch at work than fall asleep.
Well, fair enough. Yeah. But yeah, I saw a little bit of it. I don't know if you saw any of it or not.
I did. I watched a little bit of it, and I watched a lot of highlights. Obviously, this past weekend I had a wedding, so I watched actually more of the Tennessee Alabama game. So that was interesting. But it was great to watch some of the highlights. And I don't know if you saw, like, after the first round, Brendan Steele, his slam dunk birdie on 18 to secure the solo. I saw a clip of it. Yeah, it was pretty cool to watch, all some of the highlights in the matches, and root for Ricky. I mean, I think everyone's rooting for Ricky to end up somewhere on that leaderboard. I think he's a good guy. His time is he hasn't been doing too much lately. He's spending a lot of his time making commercials, I feel like. But it was cool to see Keegan Bradley secure his fifth tour win.
Yeah, so it was two guys that haven't won. So Bradley was in a 4-year drought, I believe, in winning, and Ricky hasn't won since 2019. So both of them are kind of looking to end a drought. There,
Ricky's was the Phoenix Open Waste Management.
Yeah, that was last win, 2019.
Keegan Bradley was the BMW Championship back in 2018. So.
Yeah, so good finishes obviously for both of them. First win in 4 years. Ricky's been in decent form this year. So tied 6th at the Fortinet, miscut at Sanderson Farms, I believe, and then tied 2nd here. So still hasn't won since 2019, like we said, but in pretty good form here. I think he had a club switch at the beginning of the year. I read his irons. He switched some irons, I believe. He went to, I believe it's the he switched to like muscle back irons, I believe.
Yeah, and I have to look this up while we were talking here, but I'm almost positive he got a new swing coach too.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna look it up here.
But yeah, he switched to the muscle back irons, and normally they play like the blades, right? Obviously on the tour, but they've come out with new technology there, and they kind of like made up more of a. I think I was reading into it a little bit more hybrid club, where it's kind of more muscle back, like more me and you would use, or like a normal golfer, like average golfer would use, but it's more like a hybrid technology, I believe. So I don't know if it's more of that, or maybe the swing coach change, maybe help him out.
He got obviously new clubs. He got a new caddy and a new coach. So he scrapped it all, pretty similar to me in betting corner, just scratched the entire plan and started over again. Obviously he had better results than I did, but I feel like he made a complete new change, and I think it's paying off. Obviously I'm excited to see his performance through the rest of the season.
Yeah, we'll see him. He's a big name. I mean, obviously good for the sport to have a big name like that, perform well. So hopefully we can see him up the top there a little more. I did see when I was watching, Morikawa was on the cart path for one of his shots that just, I don't forget what hole. It was a really random hole I was watching, but the cart path, I don't know if you saw it, was like kind of like the material you hit off at a range. So it was more like a mat material.
The cart path was?
All the cart paths were made of that. And so like he just hit it off the cart path like it was like a mat at the range.
Yeah, I mean that's not bad. That's interesting.
That's really interesting. Yeah, so like the commentators were talking about it, and he just rolled up. I mean, people hit off the cart path before, but it was just it was interesting. Because it was
it doesn't damage your irons.
Yeah, I mean he just rolled up, took a swing. I think he went long on the shot and went into the sand, I think. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that they just made the cart path out of that material. I'm like, everybody should do that. What the heck? Come on.
Honestly, the amount of times, I mean, it doesn't happen all the time, but like my balls ended up on the cart path a couple times a year.
Actually, no. Maybe I shouldn't say that, because when I do hit the cart path, it gets a little more extra yardage though. So
that's true. That big old bounce and just running down the cart path, that is kind of nice. I do agree with that one. But I have something for you. I forgot. I didn't tell you about this. We're gonna start introducing this little part every time we have a new winner. I'm going to do a game with you called 2 Truths and a Lie. And I'm going to give you some fun facts. Say again.
Winner for what?
The winner of the ZOZO. So Keegan Bradley, I got some 2 truths and a lie for you. Some facts I got from him. I want you to see if you can pick out the lie. All right. You ready for it? All right. First one is he was the 3rd golfer ever to be signed to wear the Jumpman logo. That's the first one.
I saw him wearing the shoes. I don't know if
it's
the first or not, but
second one. I'm saying he's the second thing I got for you. He was the 3rd person to win a major in his first start. Okay. And the third one I got for you, while growing up, he was an all-state ski racer.
So I heard that the commentators talking to him about him a little bit when I was watching. I want to say they said something about ski racing, and that's not something you would just make up. That's ridiculous. That's got to be a truth.
It is a truth. You're right. That and fishing too.
Yeah, I think that's what I heard him talking about on the broadcast. So is the Jumpman first one signed by Jumpman?
I said he was the 3rd golfer to be signed to wear the Jumpman logo, and then he was also the 3rd person to win a major in his first start.
For the third person to win a major in his first start. Interesting. Both thirds. Okay, I'll go. The lie is the second one.
No, that is a true fact, my friend.
Okay.
The lie is that he was the third golfer to be signed with a Jumpman logo. He was actually the first golfer that Michael Jordan reached out to be sign a contract to wear the Jumpman logo. You ever see? You've talked about his shoes that he wears. He's got some pretty sick shoes. So he was actually the first person. I think there's 5 or 6 golfers that are Jumpman sponsored athletes.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Okay.
You like that little 2 truths and a lie? You learn a little bit about him.
Yeah, I'm glad I watched a little bit of the broadcast the way I can roll out that one. That one's too random to make up anyway. That's ridiculous.
It is a little. It was pretty random. I was trying to think of because he also his. I want to say his aunt. It was a Hall of Fame LPGA golfer as well. I think it's his aunt. I have to look it up again. But so there was some. He has some history. So it was fun to dig up a little bit about him.
Keegan, okay. But okay, that's the ZOZO recap. So we got another tournament. We had the Live Jeddah. Brooks wins. I didn't watch any of this. I followed it a little bit on Twitter. They tweet a ton. If you don't follow Live on Twitter,
well, they don't have anything broadcast. No broadcast.
Yeah, that's true.
I think
they're closing in on a deal though with Fox Sports, I think.
I did see something like that.
But yeah, so I saw some recap, a little bit of some highlights on Twitter. Brooks wins a 3-hole playoff against actually his teammate. So they're both, I forget what team it's called. Gosh dang it. Smash.
I'll pull it up while you're talking.
It's Peter Uline. They're teammates. So I think it's an interesting dynamic that he won. He's going in the playoff against his teammate. I'm sure a little bit of a weird dynamic there maybe. But yeah, so Brooks wins in a 3-hole playoff there in Jeddah against Peter Uline. That's the end of their
Smash.
Okay, that's what I thought. And so that's the end of their individual team play there. They have the team event in Miami. You said at the end of October, right?
End of October.
In October. So that'll be in Miami. Team event there. I think the payout for the team event is like 12 million or something like that, I believe. So there's a lot of money on the line here still. So
dude,
that's
much money.
Yeah. So again, I didn't watch too much of that, but they're, so we already said, Dustin Johnson won the individual award for the year for Live. I think Patrick Reed and Brandon Grace were fighting for second. I think there's a couple more up in the air there, but they're the 2 and second and third there in the team events. And so, yeah, and the Dustin Johnson team, 4 aces are still leading by quite a bit. They're up in the team event by like 70 points. So like 150 and second place is like 80. So
we talked about the last episode. They were finally dethroned after 4 straight wins. So I don't see them losing, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, anything can happen, I guess, but we'll see. I don't know if they start. I think they get like a bye. I think the first 4 teams got like a bye, so they get the bye, I think. So we'll see there, I guess, but might be able to watch a little more of that than I have watched the last couple of events. So hopefully I can there. But yeah, so that's the Live and ZOZO recap. This coming week we have the CJ Cup. This tournament is usually international, but the last couple of years has been here because of like COVID restrictions and whatnot overseas. So last year was in Vegas. Rory won that one. This year in South Carolina. It's Congaree Club, I believe. So it's called Congaree Golf Club in Ridgeland, South Carolina. So Ricky tied third last year at this event in Vegas. But this course, the same course, Garrick Higo won at this course last year at a different event. It was a pretty weak field from what I took away. But Garrick Higo won. Yeah, at this course last year, it was an event that had to get relocated, so they put this event on real quick, and I think it was like 30 days or something like that. They organized it, so pretty impressive there. But yeah, big, really nice field though. A lot of big names signed up.
A lot of big names coming back this week. A lot. Scotty Scheffler, Justin Thomas, Rory. There's a lot. There's John Rahm,
Sam Burns.
Yeah, everyone's coming back this week, and I'll talk a little bit about when we talk about predictions.
Yeah, all the big names that you may have not seen much lately are signed up for this event, so it should be a really good tournament. So you're really looking forward to that. Let's see. So my picks, we'll get to a little later, but there's a lot of golfers that have done all three of the last events, including they're going to play this one. And so it'll factor in here in a little bit when we go over the betting corner. But a lot of golfers did the Vegas, the Shriners, then went to Japan, and then came back to South Carolina. So a lot of travel, even for these guys, that's a lot. That's like a lot of back and forth there. So that's going to factor into my picks a little bit. I kind of faded those golfers that are making that the 3 weeks in a row here, that traveling. So I kind of faded them.
I did the exact opposite of that one.
Interesting.
Okay. I like players that continue to be playing. I don't like players coming back fresh without having any competition lately. I like the players that have been playing lately. Do you want to talk about it? Your person you're picking to your as your winner this week?
Yeah, we haven't posted it because we're recording this one a little early than the last couple of episodes. But yeah, so we haven't posted it yet, but I'm going to pick, you'll see it. It's interesting because my betting corner, I changed my strategy up a little bit again. I'm getting a little cheeky on this year, but I'm going Sam Burns.
Okay.
So I'm going Sam Burns. You'll see that posted. He's played really well in the President's Cup. He's obviously just, the top ranked in the world. So I'm going Sam Burns this week. Who you got?
I have Victor Hovland.
He played last week.
Yeah, solo fifth place last week. His irons were on last week, so I'm excited to see him, and I like someone that's been playing recently. So I like I don't like someone that's completely fresh. So that's why I'm going Victor Hovland this week.
I mean, I'd imagine they're still playing on their days.
Of course. I mean, I'm sure they're not just chilling on the couch eating some pizza or some, according to Rory, some Domino's. I'm sure they're not doing that. I'm sure they're actually playing. But I like a golfer that's been competing and that's been chasing that victory lately.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going Victor Hovland this week.
All right, this will be a good test of strategies this week then, because I went through the complete opposite there. But okay,
I like it. Let's talk betting corner.
Let's do it. Okay, so I got 1 of 4 the first week, and then you missed all of them. We both missed all of them this week. All my golfers, all 4 of them were kind of in the range there. I think Corey Connors, I texted you texted me about it. I texted you back. Like Corey Connors, I think was 1 stroke from hitting my bet there. I think I had him top 10, I believe, or top 20. No, we had him top 20, and he was like 1 stroke away. He had T24, I believe, or something like that. And so he's like 1 stroke from getting up in there. The rest of them, so Eam and Kim, I think, were 5 under, and then Davis and Connors were 6 under, or vice versa, one of those. But all of my golfers were right there. But man,
I'm the opposite. You want to hear where mine ended last week? Seb Straka, I said top 40. He finished 40, tied 45. That's the closest one I had. Tommy Fleetwood, I said top 20, finished tied 53. Colin Morikawa, I said top 10. He finished tied 45. Hideki Matsuyama, I said top 5. He finished tied 40. So I was like on a different stratosphere last week when I went to my.
So I think at least like I can take some console in like the fact that I think the process isn't completely broke.
No, and the thing too, it's just golf is one of those sports where like someone can just have literally one bad day and it trashes their entire weekend. So I think it's a hard sport to even just pick a solo winner. I mean, that's incredibly difficult to do. I know we talked about how we went like a month straight picking it, but it's difficult. But I'm excited. I said this last week, but I'm feeling confident about this week. I'm feeling confident. So I'm gonna.
I was looking at when I was looking at the ZOZO. God, I forget the name who it was, but he had, like you said, 1 bad round. Who was he? Was like a 77 one in the second round, and then all the other rounds he shot like sub 68. Who was it?
Well, I know that Brendan Steele, like I said, he had that solo lead after the first.
Maybe
and then he blew up the second round. He had 4 bogeys and a double bogey.
I think it was Brendan Steele then. Yeah, because he had a 77 on round 2, and and all the other rounds I think were 68 or below.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, one day it was somebody else. He shot a 73 round 2. Brendan Steele did.
Okay.
God, who was it? I can't see it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. How about So usually you do the first pick. How about we change it up? I'll do my first pick.
Okay.
Maybe that'll change the juju of our picks here.
I like it. I like the idea.
Then we can, go from there. Okay, so my first one here, I'm actually getting really cheeky here. My first pick. So I got Taylor Montgomery.
There you go.
40. He didn't play last week.
Mm-hmm.
The top 40. He has 3 top 10s, I think, this year already.
Yeah.
3 top 10s, top 40. Going safe. That's minus 285. But I'm parlaying that.
Oh.
Parlaying that with JT Poston, top 20, plus 200, minus, or I'm sorry, 30 units on that one.
Wow. I like that.
I forget the overall parlay odds of that. I think it's like plus 130 after the parlay, but individually it's minus 285 for Montgomery, plus 200 for Poston. So we're going to parlay those two, top 40 Montgomery, top 20 for Poston, 30 units on that one. We're getting a little cheeky there.
I like it. I like that strategy. All right, my first pick, I got someone who was in the leaderboard he tied second last week. It's not Ricky. I'm going Andrew Putnam, 35 units, top 20, odds are plus 160. I like him this week. I think he's going to come with that revenge. He's going to be mad about the that not securing the victory last week. I think he's got at least a top 20 finish.
I thought it was funny because I saw
plus 160.
Bradley and Putnam. I think they were paired together. Was it round 3 or round 4? And it was funny because Bradley's like sponsored by a company called Putnam. So he was like wearing Putnam on his chest while he's going against Putnam. I thought that was funny.
That is funny.
Okay, Andrew Putnam, top 20. You said okay. Yep. So I got my next one is Jordan Spieth. Again, we got the big names coming out this tournament. So I got Jordan Spieth, top 10 for Spieth. He did well. Again, I keep referencing this President's Cup, so I'm going off those players that kind of had that good juju coming out of there. Good form there. Top 10 plus 200 there. 30 units on that one.
I like it. I got someone that we've been talking about a lot. I think a lot of us, I think every week so far, the past 2 weeks, we both had him in our bets. I got Sanjay Eam. I got 35 units, top 10 finish, odds are plus 160.
There was one Eam, he had, I think it was around 2, he like completely shanked. Yeah. He had a blow up hole. And that's kind of one of those where it just, again, like you said, with steel and, just have one bad, kind of hole and one bad round, just kind of throws off your whole weekend there. So, and he's still playing really well. So, yeah.
I like it. Let's hear yours. What you got next?
Okay, so we got the next one here. Sam Burns, like I said, he's going to be my outright winner. But I'm going back to that first strategy of I'm going to double up a little bit here. So I'll get into it next. But Sam Burns, top 10, plus 250, 20 units there. I'm going big names here. Like I said, all these golfers haven't played all 3 of the last ones. Either they took last week off or haven't played it at all in the last couple of weeks. So I'm going people that are fresh, that have not doing too much traveling. And Sam Burns, top 10, plus 250, really good golfer.
I like it. All right, so my next one I just mentioned
20
earlier.
Units, 20 units on that
20
one.
units? Gotcha. My next one I got, I said with my outright winner, but I'm going Victor Hovland, 20 units, top 10 finish, odds are plus 250.
Hovland, okay.
Hovland. I like Hovland, man.
The last weekend, I think, was the first time he had played in a couple weeks.
Correct.
Right, so, yeah, so he's not doing too much travel, so there you go.
I like it. Let's hear your last one. What do you got?
Who said this was my last one?
You went 5 this week?
I went super cheeky, like I said. So I got 2 outright winners. 2 outright winners.
2 outright winners. Woo!
Sam Burns. I'm going Sam Burns again to double up again. Outright winner plus 2,800, 10 units.
Okay.
Do you think you can guess who my other one is? Probably not. There's so many golfers, but
there's an incredibly amount. Give me 3 guesses real quick. I'm gonna say Ricky Fowler.
Okay.
Go crazy. Say no.
No.
Give me one hint. Is this his first weekend playing?
I believe it's his first tournament. He definitely didn't play last week. I can't remember if he played Shriners or not. I don't think he did. So
it's not JT. It's not Rory. It's not Scotty Scheffler. It's not Xander played last week. Colin.
I don't think Xander's in this tournament. I don't think I saw the field.
No. I don't know. You gotta tell me.
Cameron Young.
He played last week, didn't he?
Did he play last week? Did I miss it?
He was a top 10 finish. Cameron Young finished, or I'm sorry, I'm thinking
Cameron
Champ. Cameron Young did not play. Correct. You're right.
So Cam Young plus 2,800, same odds as Sam Burns, both 2,800, both going 10 units on those two. This course is long. It plays a little shorter, but it's a long course, but plays a little shorter. But Cam Young's big off the tee, so I'm going to play into that a little bit. And yeah, so both of those. I'm going a parlay, 2 outright winners.
This is going to be a good week. This is either going to be a good payout week or another blow up.
Yeah, we've already had a over already, so can't get much worse.
I like it. All right, my last one. I got JT. So I'm going against what I said. So completely fresh. JT, 10 units, top 5, plus 330. I like it.
5, okay.
Top 5.
I like the odds on the top 5s. They're really juicy, but man, it's such a small window.
So, I mean, coming from the guy who picked 2 outright winners, that's an incredibly small window.
Hey, that's why I picked 2.
Smallest window.
That's why I picked 2, though.
I like it. Well, we have a great interview coming up for our listeners here. So let's go ahead and transition to this one. We're interviewing one of our biggest partners in Cactus Golf Club, our biggest apparel partners, one of the founders there, and I'm excited for our listeners to hear it.
All right. Well, that'll do it for episode 3 of our section here. Like you said, interview coming up. So stay around for that, but that'll do it for myself at least.
Thank you guys for continuing to listen to the Cactus Golf Podcast. Now for our final segment, I get another opportunity to keep interviewing some great people in the golf space. So this week, we're going to bring you guys another interview from a founder of one of the largest apparel brands that we've partnered with so far. So ladies and gentlemen, I give you the founder of Pins and Aces, Nick Metrz. What's going on, brother? How are you?
What's up, man? How are you?
Good, man. I'm excited to have you on. And I if you guys are watching on YouTube right now, you can see his background. It's a pretty awesome background. All the head covers from throughout the years that you guys have put together. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, just some custom projects in there and stuff. So kind of fill that wall up when we can. It's pretty fun.
I can imagine. So tell everyone, let's go back to 2018, right? 2018 is when you guys you founded Pins and Aces.
Yeah, we actually founded it in 2018, but really didn't do anything. Kind of created the LLC in 2018. Started selling products kind of at the end of 19 actually. And then in 20, COVID hit and, kind of blew up from there.
Oh, I can imagine. So what made you guys, the first product that you guys sold were head covers, correct?
Yep.
What made you want to go into that space?
I actually bought a driver. I think it was a Callaway Epic at the time. And, it comes with this shitty, ugly neon green head cover. It didn't match anything that, like my bag or just didn't look good. And I'm like, okay, there's some cool, head covers out there. Let's pick one up. There's got to be something fun and different out there. And there really wasn't. I mean, there were nice head covers out there, but they were like $120, $150 a head cover. And I'm like, geez, for a driver, I don't know if I'm paying $150 for a head cover. Yeah. So, in my past experience, we've got a lot of manufacturing experience, cut and sew manufacturing with other brands that I've had. So I was like, hey, we could probably make a head cover. And, we came up with some designs, this was a side hustle for sure. Made a few head cover designs and they started to sell, started to do pretty well. Got picked up in a couple places, a couple guys on the tour and the LPGA tour were using them. So we're just like, hey, let's keep doing this, go crazier, bolder. And then we added apparel in 2020 and then, COVID hit. So.
Yeah, after COVID hit, everything blew up for the golf space, obviously, which is just fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about, I was looking on your guys' Instagram and your guys' description. You talk a lot about your importance of creating American jobs. I want to hear you talk a little bit about that because that's something that me personally, I love. I love that, bringing the work back here into the States. And so talk a little bit about what you guys are working on there.
Yeah, we're definitely passionate about creating American jobs. Some of our products are made here. We have full cut and sew, embroidery, seamstress on staff who makes head covers. We make apparel here in the U.S., but it's a small segment of what we sell. A lot of our products are imported from Asia. And it's just, honestly, it's the textile capital of the world. Most products and textiles are coming out of Asia. And we've tried to differentiate by having different Asian countries like Taiwan and Indonesia suppliers. We're looking into expanding into Colombia and Peru, just because, the Pima cotton and really good quality products over there. But that doesn't mean that you can't have an American business employing American workers. And so we're up to, I think, 24 employees now at Pins and Aces. And, just because we're bringing stuff in from other countries, we still do all the fulfillment, all the customer service, all the marketing, photography, videography, project managers, all the different components to run a business. And as we grow and you're supporting that, we can hire more people. And so that's definitely something that we're passionate about.
I love that. I think that's fantastic. I obviously wish it's not an easy thing to do too. I mean, it's really easy to automate, processes and, get something for someone cheap to do it outside the US. But I love the importance that you guys strive to create American jobs. And I commend you guys for that. That's amazing.
Yeah. And we do everything in-house. A lot of these brands, you've probably seen them popping up every day. There's a new apparel brand popping up, golf polos. It's not rocket science to make a polo, for sure. I mean, we think we have a great one. Our material's a little bit better, fit and finish. We think is the best. But it's not rocket science to do it. And a lot of people are just setting up a website, drop shipping either from, China or using a 3PL. We don't do any of that. All of it is done in-house with our team on the floor. We own our own warehouse. Our business is in there. We're shipping, fulfilling orders within usually an hour or two of them getting placed. We have a full on-site customer service team. So everything's done in-house by us. It's none of it's outsourced.
That's amazing. I love that. So I'm looking at your background still, and I see a lot of big brands, Anheuser-Busch in there, Bud Light and Budweiser and all that. I saw you guys had some Zippo is another one back there. I saw you guys recently did something with Icy as well. What's been your favorite collaborations you guys done so far?
They're all different, and unique. I couldn't say one favorite. I'd say, though, Bud Light kind of allowed us to think outside the box that way and do that. Like I said, this was kind of like a side hustle project at a regular 9 to 5 and would come to the warehouse afterwards and ship orders at night. And we were a small business, last year, really, really small. And I just got a DM from Bud Light on our Instagram, and they're like, "Hey, love your guys' stuff. You want to do a collab?" I was like, "This is great. This is awesome."
That's amazing.
Yeah, they were all about it. And, they let us kind of have free reign with whatever we wanted to do with them. And it went really well. And, successful for them, successful for us, kind of put our name out there. And, so a bunch of other brands have, reached out and wanted to do a collab with us. And we're kind of like, particular with who we're collabing with. We've got some really cool ones coming out in the future. Can't mention right now, but, so it's cool to do that. And Icy was fun. Zippo's fun. It's like 90s nostalgia, kind of brands that are popular right now. So, I don't know. I couldn't say I have a single favorite, but, Bud Light's been awesome to work with, the Anheuser-Busch team, and just letting us have free reign and then giving us a chance, a small brand that was a kind of a nobody when they reached out comparatively to who they are. So that was pretty cool.
I think it's pretty unique. You don't really hear, usually it's the smaller brands reaching out to these big names, trying to get some collaboration, with them reaching out to you first. That's insane. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I feel special to open up the Instagram page and see that DM. You're like, "Why are you kidding me? This is amazing."
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't think it was real until, they had the blue check. It was a real page. It was them. So it was awesome to see that.
I love that. A couple more questions I have here for you. So if you can look back on since the start of Pins and Aces, what's one thing that you would change?
Oh man, there's probably a lot of things. We have, it's a double-edged sword. There's a lot of things that you make mistakes, but you learn from them and you don't make them again. And you probably eventually would have ended up making those mistakes, right? I think a lot of it has been trial and error, especially when we first came out with it. We, had a little bit different cut on the polo. Some of the head cover designs initially were kind of crap, didn't like them a bunch. And now they're, we've learned from that, and we've seen what people are going to respond to, how can we increase our quality, improve it. So yeah, I think that's probably, there's good and bad, you're going to make a mistake in every business, but it gets you to the point of where you're at today.
Absolutely. And it's inevitable. Everyone's going to come across something, but it's learn those lessons that you learn from it that that propel you forward. And obviously, shame on you for making the same mistake twice. So I love that. You mentioned this a little bit earlier about how easy it is just to create a golf polo, throw up a site on Shopify, and get the ball rolling, start taking some pictures. So give someone some advice, someone who's looking to start in a golf apparel brand. What's one thing you would tell them, one piece of advice for someone that's starting up?
Oh, one piece of advice. I think depends. I mean, you got to be really prepared to do it for the long haul. It's not an overnight success by any means. I mean, when we started it and we created our first website and we had some really cool head covers, hey, we're going to be making millions of dollars here in the next month. And it's not how it goes at all.
Yeah.
I think people get burnt out by it, because it's not an overnight success. There's a lot that goes into selling just one polo. You got to have, top-notch marketing, Instagram, Facebook, advertising, the quality, the packaging, the customer service, dialed in financials to show that you're profitable, or where are you making money, where are you losing money. So I think if you're going to start out and do it, be prepared to put in a lot of sleepless nights and, not make a ton of money, off the bat, be in it for the long haul.
Absolutely. I think the big thing too is just the passion. You have to have the passion to keep you propelling forward through those times, because like you said, it's not, I can't think of any besides winning a lottery, anything that can make you millions of dollars within just a matter of seconds and minutes. So people think that they can just start this brand and completely turn their lives around within a few months. And it's not possible. So I love that answer. Last thing I got for you is you guys have a giveaway going on right now with the golf cart till the end of October. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So we had a golf cart that we, like a company golf cart that we used for, photo shoots and different things like that. And we had posted it and people were like, you should give that away. And hey, okay, good idea. Let's try it out. So it's totally legit. People are like, oh, this is a scam. You see these other places that giving out stuff. It's totally legitimate. It's run through, a legitimate sweepstakes entry form. So yeah, we're giving it away at the end of the month. It's awesome. It's got a 6-inch lift on it, mud terrain tires. It's gator seats. It's dope for sure. But yeah, we're giving it away. Whoever wins it, we'll pay to ship it to you, and it's yours.
That's amazing. I love that. So tell everyone where they can find you guys at.
Best place, all the social handles, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, at Pins and Aces, or pinsandaces.com.
Awesome. All right. I appreciate you, Nick, for being on. I appreciate all you guys for listening to our third episode of the Cactus Golf Podcast. And we'll see you guys next week.